The Hornets organization introducing its newest draft picks to here. Just Chimney Rock. The town opens today after being devastated by Helene. Governor Stein is there. So let's listen in to what's being said. That press conference, or I keep calling it a press conference, but what should we call it, Carlene? Briefing is underway right now. Let's take a listen in.
It's a rough time. If you saw as you came in, the village has had a lot of destruction. And from day one, State Parks was here. We were trying to recover it as best as we could, trying to get our equipment, help our people, everybody in town. What are you waving at, man? You're distracting me. You're distracting me. You man there. So, yeah, State Parks, we lost our bridge down there. So that was a major, major loss for us. We couldn't get anybody up, even our emergency responders. We lost the Old Rock Cafe. The guard shacks are still there standing. Got here, we had to find a way into the park. They cut a new logging road in. It's about a quarter mile long up here to the park. And after they did that, they asked me one question. Can we fly the flag? I said, yes, we can fly the flag. They went up there and they put up that flag half-mast. And as they did that, we had responders here, local Lake Lure officials and other rangers and maintenance guys here in Chimney Rock Village to look up and they could see that flag. And that was hope. From that day on, we had hope that the mountain was still here, that the park is still here, North Carolinians are still here. Here we are 9 months later, and today we went up there and rose that flag again to celebrate that we're here, this mountain is open, and you can come back. You can come back to Western North Carolina, come back to Chimney Rock. We're so excited. We couldn't have done it without all the partners here, everybody from our community people, the good old boys who were cutting people out, to all our local officials and county officials, all the way up to our federal government who came in to help. So we want to thank everybody for everything they've done, and we couldn't do it without the leadership of this man right here, Governor Josh Stein.
Good afternoon, everybody. What a happy day. Our First Lady Anna is here with me, and we are so excited to be at Chimney Rock State Park. I want to thank Superintendent Ledgerwood for that introduction and for his heroic rescue work, both while the storm was going and in its immediate aftermath. He was out there trying to keep people alive, and you and so many other first responders made a huge difference. And actually, I want to thank all of our first responders, if we could right now. A lot of folks worked really hard so that we could be here today. I want to thank the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. I want to thank the state parks. I want to thank the Department of Transportation. I want to thank the local Chimney Rock and Lake Lure leaders and the state legislators for all of their tireless efforts to get us here today. I see Representative Jake Johnson back there, Representative Carl Gillespie over here, Representative Eric Ager right here, Senator Julie Mayfield, Senator Tim Moffitt. Is Representative Scott here? Oh, Representative Paul Scott is here. Thank you for being here as well. I want to give a lot of acknowledgement to our Secretary of Department and Natural Cultural Resources, Pam Cashwell, and Secretary of Transportation, Joey Hopkins. They worked together like the team that they are to move as quickly as they possibly could so that we could get across that river and be back up here. Let's thank both of them. I also want to thank State Parks Director Brian Strong, Chimney Rock Mayor Peter O'Leary, Lake Lure Mayor Carol Pritchett, and all of the people on all of their teams that make them look so good. I see a good longtime friend here, former Lieutenant Governor Walter Dalton, one of Rutherford County's finest. Before he was Lieutenant Governor, he was in the state Senate, and when he was in the state Senate, it was his legislation that established Chimney Rock State Park. Walter, thank you. And always great to see Lucille right there with him. Thank you, Lucille. In a typical year, about 400,000 people come to visit this state park. But this year has been anything but typical. 9 months ago today, Hurricane Helene swept through western North Carolina, leaving a wake of devastation behind it. Floodwaters filled with debris, wiped out bridge after bridge, including the bridge that carried people over the Rocky Broad River here to Chimney State Park. Chimney Rock, the town, was hit about as hard as anyone. Much of it washed down the river. A third of the town's 46 businesses were destroyed, including Peter's, and many of them, and the rest of them, experienced some other type of damage. It's a town of only 130 people. Many of them have been here for generations. Immediately after Helene, the questions of how and even whether to rebuild were being asked. 9 months later, the folks of Chimney Rock are answering that question loudly and clearly. Every day, they rebuild and restore their community, making impressive progress along the way. If I've learned one thing about the people of this state, and of Western North Carolina in particular, it is that they are resilient. Today's reopening is a huge achievement. Volunteers and state crews have restored the trails. The Department of Transportation built that awesome temporary bridge and fixed up the roads so that we could ride up them. And now, because of so many people's commitment and hard work, I am absolutely thrilled to declare that Chimney Rock State Park is reopened. We ask people to register on the website in advance until we get everything fully all the kinks worked out, but come and visit. Chimney Rock is just one of the many places that makes Western North Carolina unforgettable. So it is a perfect place for us to kick off a new tourism campaign that the state is operating along with Visit NC called Western North Carolina Rediscover the Unforgettable. In partnership with Visit NC, I'm pleased to announce a travel and tourism initiative designed to get people back out west and help them rediscover this unforgettable part of our state. There is something in Western North Carolina for everyone. Unforgettable landscapes, unforgettable adventure, unforgettable food, wine, and craft beer, unforgettable crafts, music, and culture, and most importantly, unforgettable people. When folks from all over the state, all over the country, heck, all over the world, come here to spend their vacation and their tourism dollars, here we remind the neighbors of Western North Carolina that we will be with them until the end. This summer and fall, the First Lady and I hope to be up here as much as we possibly can in Western North Carolina. Looking forward to doing new activities. We've got zip lines tomorrow, trying out different restaurants, taking in these incredible views. And by the way, I've got a much better view than you do. It's amazing out there. We encourage all people in Western North Carolina, all people watching this footage, come to Western North Carolina. If you have never been here, you will be delighted. And if you have been here, rediscover the unforgettable and come back. And as if today couldn't get any better, I have one more piece of good news. Last night, these hard-working legislators passed House Bill 1012. It is a $575 million relief bill for Hurricane Helene so that we can have more success stories like here at Chimney Rock, and we can keep inviting people back to Western North Carolina. The bill also extends the state of emergency to October 1st so that we can continue to expedite recovery efforts, in particular, our repair work of private roads and bridges. It includes $75 million for those private roads and bridges, in addition to money to fight wildfires, prevent landslides, repair dams, and support our schools and local governments. It passed both chambers unanimously, and I am excited right now to make this bill a law. more money for Western North Carolina recovery. How fun is this? There is still so much more work to be done. We still need to support our small businesses with forgivable loans so that they can keep providing jobs and growing the economy. I call on the legislature to include that in the next recovery relief package. We still need to invest in more affordable housing because too many renters have lost their homes. We still need to invest in resiliency, whether it's dealing with flooding or downed power lines. And we need Washington, D.C. not to forget us. I have an $11.5 billion appropriation request sitting before the Congress and the administration as we speak. Every day, we have a lot of work to do, but it's also good to take stock and recognize that today is a good day. Chimney Rock State Park is reopened to the public. Our Unforgettable Western North Carolina ad campaign has been launched, and this appropriations law is an important step forward. I thank the General Assembly for putting in the work and making it happen. Thank you. Let's keep good news coming for Western North Carolina.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Pam Cashwell. I get the honor of serving as Secretary at the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, also known as DNCR, and we get the pleasure of managing all the things that people love about North Carolina, everything from our arts to our parks and so much in between. Thank you, Governor, so much for your work to help us get Western North Carolina back on its feet. The governor appointed me as cabinet of this agency right at the end of 2024 so that we were all ready to hit the ground running in January. And one of the first directives that he gave to our cabinet was that Western North Carolina was to be a priority for us. And so in my third week on the job, I was here in Chimney Rock meeting with Representative Scott, with both the mayors of Lake Lure and Chimney Rock and other local officials, and we walked around at the bottom of the park. We talked about where a bridge might be, and I can tell you that the local officials impressed upon me in the strongest of ways that we needed to move swiftly as possible to get this park back open. And that is because of the importance of this park to the economy here in this community. I immediately committed that we would do exactly that because I knew that Secretary Joey Hopkins of the Department of Transportation and that Governor Stein both shared that commitment, that we would do everything we could to get this park back open just as quickly as possible. So many people have done so much work to make today come to fruition. I again want to recognize and thank Superintendent Ledgerwood. He and his team are phenomenal. They took heroic actions in the immediate aftermath of Helene to not just take care of this park and the people who work here, but to help take care of this community. And so I would ask you all again to just join me in giving a huge round of applause to all of our park staff. And I should add that it's all of our park team that is amazing because we have park staff come in from around the state to help out in Western North Carolina. And so they're just an amazing group of people who we're very fortunate to have serving in North Carolina. So knowing that we were going to make this happen, we worked very hard to get it done, and this morning at 8:30, I was really proud to be here and be with our park staff as we went up on that rock and they raised the flag. And I can tell you it was a very powerful and emotional, just incredible moment to experience. And so again, thank you. Also, I did a hike this morning of the Hickory Nut Falls, and when you go, and I encourage you to do that hike if you are able. It is beautiful, amazing once you get down to those falls. But as you're doing that, it also is another example of all the hard work that has occurred here, because you go down that path, and if you didn't know that Helene had happened, you wouldn't know that Helene had happened, because there's just been so much work to clear all of the trails on the way there. So when Helene hit, 18 of our more than 100 sites were impacted in western North Carolina. I'm so thrilled that with today's opening, we have only one park left that is not open, and that's Mount Mitchell. And we are excited. We want Mount Mitchell to be open. For those of you who don't know, the Parkway, the Blue Ridge Parkway, is what gets us into that park, and so we are dependent upon our partners at the National Park Service to help us get in there. But it's so thrilling at this point, 9 months out, to be where we had 18 sites that were really impacted and to be down to one, and that's just because of the great workers that we have in North Carolina. Finally, with 30 million visitors a year to our more than 100,000 sites, we know and appreciate the importance of travel and tourism here in North Carolina. And so we also are really excited to participate with the Visit NC and the Rediscover the Unforgettable campaign here in North Carolina. Again, there's no better symbol of that tourism and of our resilience than the rock above us. And so this opening sends a clear message that even though there's a way to go, we are rebuilding, we're opening, there's so much here to visit and rediscover. And just thank you all for being here and being a part of this. Now I'm really pleased to introduce someone who I'm sure he's very excited that this is happening, because I will no longer be texting him and calling him to say what's happening with the bridge in Chimney Rock. Secretary Joey Hopkins has worked so hard with DNT. They continue to work. They have so much left to do, but his team is incredible. Join me in welcoming Secretary Joey Hopkins.
My foot hit that. Thank you, Secretary Cashwell, and good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Since Secretary Cashwell is the Secretary of Art and Parks and everything in between, I guess I'm the Secretary of the department that gets you to those places. Amen. Yeah, so proud to be appointed by Governor Stein and Secretary of Transportation. It's where I've spent my whole career here. Started as a summer intern way back before some of y'all were born, and I'm not going to say that year while we're here. But it's a really great pleasure of mine to be here. I've been to Chimney Rock a number of times. I've seen Senator Moffitt out here in the early days after the storm, and just the devastation that these communities have in the Rocky Broad River area is just overwhelming. And when you first see it, you're like, where do we start at? And the good news is we've got people, professionals that work at DOT, that work for DOT and work with DOT that know where to start at. And I want to start by thanking them, because it's just awesome. Wright Brothers was here in that first week. They did not have a contract with us, but they knew what needed to be done, and they came in and started rebuilding and connecting these communities. So I want to thank them. I want to thank our DOT crews. Jacob Zimmerman could not be here today, but he's been integral in what's happened out here. Nathan Moneyham is in the back, and also Tim Anderson. They're the leadership, some of the leadership of the division out in this area. Glad to have them and their folks here. And it's just important for us that we've got an organization of professionals that love their communities, they love their job, they take pride in their work, and they continue to just stand out and do this great work. I also want to thank our state legislature, like Governor Stein did, and also Governor Stein for signing this bill. The unanimous passing of the Helene Recovery Bill directs nearly $300 million to the Department of Transportation for recovery work for Helene. And that money goes directly to the impacted communities like the ones that we're in this afternoon. It's a tremendous boost to us that will help us match the federal relief funds to help, and also while we're doing that, to help us avoid disruption to the non-Helene work that we do all across the state. We're estimating now that our total cost for Helene recovery just for transportation is in the $5 billion range. So this $300 million goes a long way toward helping that match that we'll need for the funds that FEMA and FHWA don't cover. Also want to thank the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. Pam was not joking when she said she texted and called me a lot, but it's certainly a partnership to be able to work with her and Brian and their staffs and help this park and help other parks and other communities in western North Carolina. The village of Chimney Rock, the town of Lake Lure, y'all have been with us side by side since the beginning. This is your communities, it's where you live, it's where you work, and we couldn't do it without you either. Also, the Bat Cave community, they're just right up the river here, and they've been integral in helping us for staging areas, for meeting areas, and just so many.
All right, so you're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. I'm Nick Sertivant. So right here on your screen is Secretary Joey Hopkins with NCDOT. A press conference is underway because Chimney Rock is officially open. A big moment for the town there as they continue to recover, and a lot of western North Carolina continue to recover following Hurricane Helene. I can't believe it's been 9 months, but it has been 9 months since that devastation. So yeah, we want to shift over here, and as I promised, Julie Kay is in studio. We were listening to this press conference. We heard from Governor Stein. He signed into law House Bill 1012, basically a disaster recovery act to help with aid and recovery there in western North Carolina. Big takeaways from what he said?
Well, this is, I mean, it's a huge step forward that takes our state contribution level to more than $1.6 billion towards Helene. Not nearly as much as it's going to take. We'll be doing these relief bills, I think, for a very long time if they don't wrap it into the budget when they come back from their recess at the General Assembly. But it's a big step forward, and I think that key that we're not done is really what he hit on. It was a celebration, not just because of the bill, but because this is paired with Chimney Rock opening back up and really encouraging that tourism, especially in this summer season into the fall, which is huge for our mountain communities. But he was like, there's still things that are left out of this, not by any malicious intent, just by lack of funds that he wants to get to in the future. A big one he mentioned, affordable housing. It's not just rebuilding, it's that a lot of this is an issue that we already had across the state, across the country, really, but especially in those communities, finding a place to live that was affordable was already an issue, and a disaster like this exacerbates that. So Helene, as we know, really touched every facet of life. That's another one that he wants to get to in the future, so I imagine we'll be getting a more formal request when we get closer to the legislative session returning.
And he also mentioned the federal government.
Yes.
and he has requested funds from the federal government, basically saying, hey, don't forget about western North Carolina. He said that during his press conference.
And this has been a recurring back and forth. As we know, the Trump administration as a whole is trying to cut back on excess spending. But I will say, during the inauguration even, he mentioned western North Carolina and how Helene hit, and the federal government, he was referring to the Biden administration, did not do enough. There may not be enough money, period, out there. As we said, $60 billion to recover as much as potentially possible from Helene. It's going to take multiple levels at the state, local, and federal level, but this kind of impending request from Stein that's still kind of hanging out there is not a great sign. There has been quite a back and forth between the Trump administration and the state level. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, especially because we're talking about some of these federal cuts too that aren't necessarily so direct about Helene. AmeriCorps, for example, some of the resources that Helene was using that didn't necessarily come directly from the state or even directly from federal funding, quote unquote, are being impacted by this. So that's going to be a back and forth that I think we'll be having for a long time. But at this point, I think that's why Stein is making that push so publicly and why he's continuing to try and work as closely as he can with the state government.
Western North Carolina, huge priority for Governor Stein. He started his day one. He was in Western North Carolina. 9 months later, he's back in Western North Carolina. Julie, thank you for your time. You were hanging out in the studio, giving us some good context, not only on this, but on the state budget. Where can we catch you this after? I believe you're in all the shows, but
They let me have a break during the 4.
Okay,
so you'll see me at 5 and 6 today.
Also, I was trying to create more work for you. I'm sorry.
Don't put that out there.
All right, that's Julie Kay. You can catch her at at 5 and 6 this evening. And also you can get a lot of this information on our website, WCNC.com, and on our mobile app. All right.